what can I actually take from this is like, it doesn't matter what you do, speak to as many people as possible.
You mentioned relationships a few times, leveraging relationships, keeping relationships, building relationships. What would you say is important for you, and what you've learned in terms of how to leverage relationships, keep relationships, and build relationships?
Yeah, just be yourself is the most important thing in terms of the actual like relationship side of things. I think having managed people for the last 7 years now, you see the people that are faking the relationship and you see the people that are genuine.
Yeah.
Like I think that one of the good things about me, especially coming from a chefing background, is like we're just who we are, you know, and what you see is what you get with me. You'll never see any interior motive of me saying one thing and doing another. It's like, this is probably one of the benefits of working with me, because I'm not the type of snake that will go behind your back and say one thing, I'll just address it straight on. Sometimes that's quite difficult for people to digest.
Yeah.
But that's how I've played everything in all of my relationships, is that, you know, I'm just myself, you know, and relationships are so important here, like, because trust is built on so many things.
Yeah.
You know, you've got I think I checked the other day, and it's like 3,500 registered fit out companies in this region. So the only way you can really stand out is, first of all, obviously you do a good job, you know, make sure you deliver on your promises, and make sure that people like you. You know, one of the first things I learned in sales was people buy from people.
Yeah.
You know, and it was very simple but very effective, because at the end of the day, it is so true. Like, everybody's offering a real estate, you know, everybody's offering fit out, everybody's offering a Ferrari or social media packages. It's like, but who do I really get along with?
Yeah.
You know, who can I trust? And that's what I mean about relationships, because, you know, some of the relationships that I do now, you know, guaranteed I'll do 50 million business with them in a year.
Yeah.
And then you leverage a few of them, and next thing you know, you've got a lot of business on your hands, you know. And now, like, for a relationship aspect, like, I know people, some of my clients trust me so much, they just single source me.
Yeah.
Danny, I got this project, can you come and take a look at it? No problem, done deal. And, you know, we're not talking small numbers here. Like, the smallest deal we'll do for a single source is probably $1.52 million. Dollars.
Wow.
So it's big money that people are trusting us with.
Yeah.
And that is the power of a relationship, is like, once you get the trust of people, but you've got to be yourself, because you got to let the person in. Yeah. You know, and I think that's how you really build a good relationship. Is they need to know about your past, about your family, about, you know, what type of football team you support, what's your favourite dish, where do you like to go for dinner, the music you're into, you know, all that sort of stuff. So this is how I feel that you leverage good relationships.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think I'm at a point now as well where I'm really realising how relationships can change. When you think about, like, you talked about selling that house to the guy in the UK, and then here you are now, how many years later, sat in Dubai, doing really well. It's like, who could you bump into tonight or the weekend or so, you know what I mean? That's going to put you in a certain place. It's mad. Yeah. When you go back through your relationships and you think, how did I get here? And you think about the people you met, but also think about the people that you might have just walked past and not made an effort with, or not really.
Yeah.
It's
See, that's how we met, right? We spoke in the gym, you know, and I bought a house for you, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So there you go. Literally relationship. Literally relationship. I called you up and was like, Liam, speak to this developer. I want this property.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I trusted you because the guy that I was dealing with, I just knew, like, you know, I think I told you about this, right? I saw this off-plan property and I thought, do you know what?
We won't mention any names.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even remember his name anyway. You know, I remember he was like, yeah, let's meet for a coffee. So I met him for a coffee, and then he brought his sales manager along, who I don't know who was, but he was just some greasy, slimy salesperson. And he tried to sell me 2 properties. I thought, I'm here asking you about the dimensions of the garden and if it can fit a swimming pool, and you're trying to flog me a 2-bedroom apartment with that, like. And I just walked away. I was like, not interested in these guys, but still wanted it. Called you up because I trust you, and we got the deal done.
relationships.
And then I bought an ice bath off you as well.
You did, yeah. What else are you going to buy?
Yeah.
We've got some really nice new options, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Show me one of those Kempinski residences.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll be able to buy one of the penthouses soon.
I'm sure you will. Okay, so yeah, that's really interesting, actually. I mean, we've known each other for a while now, and I didn't know a lot of that. So
yeah, exactly. So going back to your point is like, I think it's so important that wherever you are, always speak to people.
Yeah.
You
know what you learn as a child growing up, especially in the UK, especially my parents, like, don't talk to strangers. But I think that is
the worst advice.
It's the super important skill.
Yeah.
To be able to, you should learn how to speak to strangers. Be confident about it. Obviously.
I don't know where it came from for me, to be honest, because I remember my mum talking about what it was like as a kid, and she was always like, you were so friendly, just curious about everything. People would come to the house, I'd go sit on their knee and be like, who are you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm so glad of that, because it has served me so well. Because, you know, my girlfriend, she'll say to me, she's like, you in social environments, it's kind of inspiring to watch, because you can literally go and talk to anyone, and you don't realise, because it's something that I can just do. It's not like, I don't see it as a superpower. I just see it as, you know, just we're all
not
humans.
an effort for you,
exactly. But for them, you know, it's really coming outside their box and stuff, and people do fear it. But I learned from a very young age that it's just like, you know, rejections are part of the process, and as simple as that. You could go up to someone and I've walked up to so many people, and they've basically been like, in a nutshell, their facial expressions is like, stop talking to me. Okay, no worries, nice to meet you, see you later, maybe we'll speak to each other again, and that's it.
Big deal,
you know. But yeah, talking to everybody in all situations is so important.
100%. And I think the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more confident you are.
I mean, I generated a lead from talking to a guy in a sauna. I'm pretty sure that's how we met as well, isn't it? Yeah, just like chatting away, like, just like, oh, what do you do? I was like, I do this and that, and I've got a project that I want you to come look at, you know. So it's like, you don't know who you're talking to. I think the difference though with Dubai though is it welcomes it. Whereas I've not done too much networking in the UK, but I've heard
I can imagine.
I've heard it's quite hostile.
Yeah, people just in their own lane. Don't want to be bothered.
I think if you're listening to this and trying to listen to this episode of the podcast and thinking, what can I actually take from this? Is like, it doesn't matter what you do. Just speak to as many people as possible. Networking is so key in today's day and age. It's just, you just never know who you're going to meet.